16 years after the Super Falcons of Nigeria last featured at the Olympics, they will play in Paris on Thursday. Of course, the Paris Games begin this week, and of course, on Thursday they play Brazil in what is quite a difficult group. Probably this is the easiest game, but the Super Falcons have the chance to pick up 3 points and get off to a great start when they begin their Olympic campaign. This is our preview of the game between Nigeria and Brazil, talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. My name is Ayomide Shotubo, and this is the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. So to talk about women's football, it's ideal to bring a woman. And of course, most certainly, someone who's not a stranger here is Amara. She's here to talk about the Super Falcons, quite passionate about women's football. Great to have you on the show this morning. And yes, we need to start talking about our record at the Olympics. I mean, from Athens to Beijing between 2004 2008.
Yeah.
They featured and they finished in the quarterfinals, I believe. But ever since then, they've not been at the Olympic Games.
No.
They missed London,
16 whole
they
years.
missed Rio, they missed Tokyo.
Tokyo, yeah.
But now they are pitching their tent in Paris.
But then pitching the tent is definitely a difficult game. That has to be the strongest group at the Olympics, sorry. Group A, B, and C. I mean, Group C, we have 3 heavyweights in women's football. Talking about Spain, Brazil, and then Japan. Japan played one of the best football at the World Cup. And Brazil, of course, even though Brazil of now is not the same Brazil we know,
Yeah.
but they still have talents, and the
Absolutely.
legendary matter are still there.
I mean, we're going to talk about her, but
Yeah.
let's move away from that quickly now and talk about, our preparations going into the Olympics. Randy Waldrum says that the team is better than they were at the World Cup last year.
Yeah, he's optimistic,
Yeah,
he said.
that defeat against Canada in the warm-up friendly last week was the first defeat in 15 games, I believe, the first in 2024 as well.
Yeah.
But looking away from the result, what positive do you take away from the preparations going into the game?
Well, we have lots of games as compared to the other teams that are in the Olympics. We know Japan played our neighbors, Ghana, 4-0. But then we know Nigeria has better than the Ghanaian women's side. But then you can't overlook those teams, seeing as we didn't even win our own friendly matches. But just one game we played against Canada. But I can remember for the World Cup last time around, I was like, Randy Waldrum needs to leave the Super Falcons.
Amen.
And then the World Cup started, and we saw how
It
don't blow too much.
I
but
say it
then-
was dramatic.
Not dramatic. Don't say dramatic. We tried. People
I would
they
like
wrote
to
us
say,
off.
well,
We said nothing.
this is what you get when you're
good
doing
because
it.
of these guys.
Oh my God.
But then I felt that against England we should have won. We had
Yeah.
the numerical advantage. But then back to the Olympics now. I think we have so many players play their first World Cup, and so many players are playing their first Olympics this time around. We had the likes of Asisa Toshola. We're missing key players actually, but then like Ayinde in midfield, Ashley Plumter in defense.
Yeah,
but
Plumter
it's one
is
thing
great
about
miss.
Randy Super Falcons of this era now, we don't concede lots of goals, unlike previous Super Falcons.
Let's stick with talking about the team. Waldrum has said this is best team.
Yeah.
Now, which core players do you think will carry out best hopes? I mean, in a very tough group, a very tough game. You're playing world champion Spain. You're playing Japan. You just said they thrashed Ghana. I think that gives us a bit
Very
of a
technical
reading
sides, Japan.
into
Yeah.
what to expect.
Yeah.
And then we start off with Brazil, which you're facing the Brazilian team, of course. You can sense chills down your spine
Yeah.
ordinarily.
Well-
So who are the players you think can bear the Nigerian flag, lead us to victory?
Well, first of all, you can't talk about Nigerian players without calling Asisa Toshola. She's
Absolutely, yeah.
the star player of the team. Even though people are giving her so many stick for not performing so well for Super Falcons, but then she's a star player. Bring her into the pitch any day, she will bang you goals. But then, recent years, past 2-3 years, I think, in my opinion, one of the best goalkeepers in women's football,
Oh, yeah.
Chiamaka Nnadozie.
I mean-
she won the keeper of the season for her club side in
Yes.
Paris. So she has to be a definite figure.
She's CAF's
If
women's goalkeeper of the year
Yeah,
as
she
well.
is. So if we are going to go further in the competition, she definitely will play a big part. She's catching penalties now for fun. Sinclair of Canada at the World Cup
Yeah.
can testify. So maybe Martha, check out. Chiamaka is everything for you.
Maybe.
And aside Chiamaka, we have the captain of the side, Ajibade. She was
Absolutely.
phenomenal for Atletico Madrid. They qualified for the Champions League. We have Esther Okoronkwo, who is bagging goals for us of recent. Thinking about, we have Numonu. People might say, why is she in the squad? But then...
And the fans' favorite, Michelle Alozie.
Of course, she's just...
For many
she
reasons.
runs. No, of course, now.
But one reason stands out, she's beautiful.
Beauty and
Absolutely,
brains, definitely.
yeah.
And she's going to run that right wing for us, especially. But then in midfield, we have Toni Payne, recently moved from Sevilla to Everton.
Yeah.
And she was phenomenal at the World Cup. So we expect, or we wish she will bring in that same form into the Olympics for us.
Okay, now we have to get talking about the match. There's a bit of context in this one. Beijing was the last time the Super Falcons featured. Who kicked us out of Beijing? Brazil. And now you're having to start your tournament playing the same team.
Sadness. And that was the last game.
Does that bring a sense of deja vu for you?
I would say revenge for me. I would say revenge because the last game we played at the Olympics was 16 years ago against Brazil. Funny enough, we even scored first. Legend Perpetual Kocha scored the penalty. And then in 11 minutes, Christine scored a hat-trick first half, and that was the end of it for us. Till now, we're meeting another Brazil side with, lots of talents. They have Caroline, who just came from injury. They have lots of players. Former Arsenal defender Rafaela will be also there. But then one thing about football is that you can see on paper they have a squad, but football is 90 minutes in the field of play. For we have to be, one thing I always want Nigeria to do is, defensively we're good, we're compact. But it's a transition for us from defense to attack to
I
get
think for
the goals
all Nigerian
for us.
teams, we struggle with two things. An expert, I'm not going to mention his name, but said this, and I tend to agree with him. We struggle with set pieces. All the teams, basically, not just, the men's team, the junior teams, all around, set pieces and transitions.
Yeah.
These are things So how should Randy Waldron be dealing with that now?
Randy should go and watch the game against Australia at the World Cup. That game was standout for me. But it
was chaotic.
It was, but then that's Nigeria.
That's the sign that we
African
struggle with
football.
transition.
That's African football for you. You might say we don't play the flair, tiki-taka. We just compact defense, transition, and move your midfielders to help out. We have our back four are quite, they know each other. They understand themselves. Aside Plumter, who is missing, but then they bring in Okeke, who has also doing well for us. But then Ohale and Dimeyi and Chamaka have understanding. That's core three. And then the midfield of we have Jennifer Echegini, who will come in. We have Toni Payne.
Echegini is a fantastic player.
We
One of my
have
favorites.
Ajibade, we have Oshish. So Boranti went with 5 attackers, and Super Falcons rather always play with just one forward player there. So I'm looking at what he wants to do. But one thing about the team is that
we didn't even talk about
we have so many.
She's in the squad.
Yeah, she is in the squad.
Uchebi
her team won, I think, the league, Benfica, and she featured in most of the games there. So we have so many players. It's about our strengths. Use our strength to get what we want. Be compact in defense, defend well, play for each other, stick to the plan. That's what Super Falcons needs to do. Now
that we have this exciting crop of players, one thing I'm looking out for, coming into the show, when I was looking out for is your expectation about this group. Tough group. I would take anything positive, slightly positive, because you're facing world champions Spain. That counts for a lot. And then you're facing Japan, very good side, as technical as can get.
The 3 teams in this group are actually very technical. Like the World Cup, people said Nigeria will finish 3rd or 4th, but then we ended up the entire group unbeaten, beating even the host nation. So I think one thing means these expectations, yes, we want them to be hard. It's a uphill task saying that they will beat Spain and Japan. Please be realistic. But one thing is that you play your game plan, defend properly, you understand? Chances will come for you, definitely. Take the chances as much as they come. For me, if we scale out of the group stage, I'm okay. I'm fine.
You think they will have done fine?
Yeah. We're playing Brazil. You get 3 points against Brazil. Any of the 2 games between Spain and Japan get a point out of the next round. So even if we don't qualify after that round, I'm okay with just getting.
How more difficult can it get when you beat Spain, for instance, or take points off Spain or take points of any of these teams. I mean, Nigerians want to dream to go all the way.
Definitely, but then that's like dreaming. Talking about realistically.
So yeah, let's stay in the reality of things.
Spain has the current Ballon d'Or winners in their side.
Yeah,
the previous Ballon d'Or winners in their side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like they're saying Spain, Nigeria. Of course, everybody's going to pick Spain, going to pick Nigeria.
Okay, talking about Ballon d'Or winners, you mentioned Marta there. It's surprising that she's still playing for Brazil at this age. I mean, her longevity is astonishing.
Well, Iniesta is still playing football, even though I'm begging him to retire. But then for speaking about Marta, I'm happy she is still here because she definitely is one of the players I started watching when I started watching women's football. She and likes of Carly Lloyd. Carly Lloyd has retired. Now Marta is here. She has played. She's a legend in the game. Every upcoming footballer or people that have own stars right now said at some point look up to Marta playing football. For me, as a fan of Super Falcons, I'm sure that I'll be happy to see her come out and play against us, but I'm not wishing her well in this match.
Okay, now talking about, of course, wanting to wish a team well, I know it's the Super Falcons for obvious reasons, but what's the scoreline you'll be going with in this one?
We defend well. We transition as fast as we can, get a goal. We have players that can score goals for us. So it's very hard to say Brazil won't score a goal, but then you have to get past Chamaka and Nadozie.
Yeah.
So I'll probably give Nigeria a 2-1 win.
Victory. Okay. Quite interesting conversation around the Super Falcons. Always exciting talking about women's football here. Last time we did this was the Women's World Cup, but now can the white-green flag fly high? Talking about the Super Falcons when they get on the pitch on Thursday, our expectations is that they do. Our hopes is that they can as well. We wish them all the best when they play. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Nutmeg. You can be part of our community on social media, even on YouTube. You can hit the subscribe button on YouTube right there and also tap the notification bells to get all our latest content while you follow us on all our social media platforms as well as Just Guardian Nigeria. Again, thank you very much, Amara. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Yeah, and of course, thank you for watching once again. I'll see you next time.